Actually, I do have another question about myself where I think I'm afraid to own my power.
Well, now that's not logical, is it? In other words, we can tell you that everything that you want is about your feeling of freedom, and everything that freedom is about a feeling of empowerment. And so we don't deny that you have a feeling of fear, but it isn't your empowerment that you fear. It's your not being able to have it. In other words, empowerment is downstream. On this emotional scale, over here where it feels like love and joy, there is your perception of freedom. Over here where it feels like despair and fear is your perception of not freedom and not power. And so when you feel fear, it's because you're looking at things that make you feel not free. When you feel joy, it means you're looking in the direction of things that do make you feel free. So when you say, I have this fear of my own power, we say fear always means you are pointed toward the absence of your power, and it is right that you would feel uncomfortable when you focus upon the absence of your power, because the source within you, your inner being, who you really are, feels powerful. So when you feel fear and you connect it with the idea of empowerment or power, just stop and say to yourself, this fear must mean that my inner being feels powerful. And when I'm looking at myself as not powerful, I'm causing a vibrational separation between me and me.
But I don't know how do I turn that fear off, or how do I get rid of that fear?
Well, first of all, you don't get rid of it all at once. You get rid of it a little bit at a time, because you can't jump from the vibration that feels like fear all the way to the vibration that feels like joy in one jump. The frequencies are too far apart. So you just coax yourself little by little by trying to find more downstream statements. So give us a statement that makes you feel that fear of power. Start there, and we'll walk you back down into a better feeling place. What kinds of things happen in your experience that make you say, I feel fear of my power?
I don't, consciously, I don't think I feel fear. I think it must be a subconscious fear.
Well, if it's subconscious and you're not feeling it, it's not strong enough to be impacting you at all. In other words, it's not subconscious, or you're not feeling emotion around it. If you're feeling emotion around it, it's conscious. That's good to know, isn't it? People say, oh, don't I have all kinds of unconscious things that are holding me back? And we say, if they're unconscious and you're not feeling anything about them, they're not a big player in your vibrational game. Don't worry about them. And if you are feeling them, they're not unconscious.
I think what it is that I fear disappointing people.
That's it, exactly. You see, it isn't about your thoughts and your alignment. It's about, and almost everybody does this, I'm worried more about what you think about me than I am about my connection with who I am. And so isn't that logical, that if you're worried more about what somebody else thinks, that you'd get that feeling in your belly because your inner being never goes there? In other words, you're out there on the raw and ragged edge, having a totally separate thought than anything. Your inner being knows your power. When you are second-guessing your power, you're disconnected. Your inner being knows your worthiness. When you're second-guessing your worthiness, you're out there raw and ragged. When you're looking to someone else and saying, am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Do you think I can do this? And they're off doing their own thing. They're not even all that interested in you. Even if they gave birth to you, they're not all that interested in you. Really, everyone's selfishly oriented. That's the thing that goes wrong with most of you. That's why most of you feel like puppets. When somebody holds you as their object of attention and they are adoring you, their adoration of you has them connected to source, and now they're flooding it all over you, and oh, it feels so good. But then when they focus on something else, now you feel like a puppet that someone has let go of the string. And so there are a lot of you that we know feel that way because you have not been aware of this gap and tending to it. But you can tend to it in a day or a week or a month. And all of that fear will go away, because when you come into concert with who you really are and what you really know about you, you feel powerful. So give us an example of something that happens that makes you feel fear.
When I do readings for people, I feel fear that they're going to be disappointed, that it's not accurate or it's not detailed enough, and that it's not, there are no actual exact details that apply to them, and so therefore they get disappointed. And that's what I fear.
All right, so in my willingness and desire to assist someone in connecting to their own power, I have taken the time to meditate, to come into alignment with Source, and now I'm exploring the energy around them, and I am getting some vibrational feedback that I'm interpreting for them. And so I'm explaining from my perspective what I'm seeing. And I know that they're going to be interested in what I say because it's about them. And I'm afraid that I might not get it right, so I'm upstream. That's where you are. So then you say, in this co-creative experience, some of them are more receptive and some of them are not. That feels sort of downstream. And I can't really control their receptivity. I can only do my best to tune in to who I am. That's downstream. And it's something that you know, you've experienced it. Some of them have such strong wanting that they're really pulling a lot through me, and I can really feel it. And there are some instances when I'm reading them that I know I'm right on, because the impulses that come to me are undeniable. And at the end of those sessions, I never feel incomplete or like I didn't get it right, because I felt the power of it. It poured through me. Yes. But sometimes I don't feel that power. And we want you to say, and when that power is absent, it's not because I am different, it's because they are different. Some of them are easier to read than others. Why do you think it is that we choose you as we choose you? In other words, there are people all over every room that we play with like this, and some of them have very powerful desires, but they are not in a place of being ready to hear the answer, and so having a conversation with them is not satisfying for them or for anyone else listening in. You see what we're getting at?
That's my next question.
You cannot control their readiness. Right. You can only control your readiness. And so when you say to yourself, I'm as ready as I can be, then what begins to happen is you stop worrying about anything, and then you're even more ready. And if someone says, has anyone ever said to you, I'm unhappy with what you've given me?
No, but sometimes I think they're just being nice.
So you play that game in your mind, and somebody says, I didn't get what I wanted, and then in your mind you say, but you did get everything you were ready for, and that's all any of us can do. And whatever comes forth is the perfect thing for you right here, right now.
Okay.
You're doing extremely well. Now, more than us giving you words that make you feel better, we want you to give you words that make you feel better. In other words, it's self-reassurance that brings you into alignment. You must do the work of lining yourself up with what you want. And so now let's come full circle. So when you say, I felt fear of success, can you see how completely opposite of that it all was?
Yes.
Your fear was because you were beating the drum of what you didn't want rather than beating the drum of what you do want. Very clear, yes?
Yes.
Good.
Yes. So I guess I just want to wrap it up that what I understand is that I should just say more words of affirmation of what makes me feel good, and that would bring me downstream.
That's a good way of saying that. I've already done the work, and you have. You've set it over there. You know who you are. You know that you want to do it. The stream is already flowing. People are already coming. And the way you ready yourself is by bringing yourself into alignment with your ability to do it. So you just talk yourself into your realization of how good you are, how easily it comes. if we were standing in your physical shoes, when any doubt starts to creep in, we would remember a very strong interchange that you had where you could really feel it flowing. Haven't you noticed, even in a gathering like this, sometimes we get onto a subject that is so powerful and everyone's in alignment with it and off we go, and sometimes it's slower going. In other words, every subject is not screeching down the stream, you see. Just be easy about it.
Okay. Thank you, Abraham.
Yes, indeed.